Hello and welcome to another episode of Disney Movie Investigation. If this is your first time watching, welcome to the show. On each episode, we take a look at a movie that is featured on Disney+. On this episode, we're taking a look at an early 2000s hit as we take a look at The Beach, starring Leonardo DeCaprio. And stay tuned for our bonus story as we take a look at an abandoned Disney theme park as we take a look at Disney Sea. And if you are enjoying these videos, I do ask that you please hit that subscribe button. That way you'll be notified with each new video. But for now, sit back and enjoy this episode of Disney Movie Investigation. So like I said, today we're covering The Beach, and this movie was released on February 11th, 2000, and it was directed by Danny Boyle, and it is based on the novel The Beach by Alex Garland. It was distributed by 20th Century Fox, and its budget was $50 million, and it did a box office return of $144.1 million. In terms of the production, it was originally written for Ewan McGregor, who was cast as the lead character, but he left after disputes with the director. The rumor was that director Danny Boyle was offered additional funding if Leonardo DiCaprio was cast, so he intentionally had feuding with Ewan McGregor. The film was actually shot on the island of Koh Pao Phi in Thailand. And in terms of the cast, so we have Leonardo DiCaprio, who plays Richard, Tilda Swinton, who plays Sal, Virginie Leodona, who plays Francois, Robert Carlyle, who plays Daffy, and Patterson Joseph, who plays Keaty. In terms of the plot, Garland's novel centers on a young nicotine-addicted traveler named Richard, who is an avid pop culture buff with a particular love for video games and the Vietnam War movies. While at a hotel in Bangkok, he finds a map left by a strange, whacked-out neighbor who just committed suicide. The map supposedly leads to a legendary island paradise where some other wayward souls have settled. So this movie has quite an interesting legacy to it. So the film was subject to controversy as 20th Century Fox was accused of bulldozing and landscaping the natural beauty of the Koh Phi Island in order to make the location more paradise-like. Fox admitted that they were altering sand dunes and cleared some coconut trees and grass to widen the area, but Fox also set aside a fund to reconstruct the location back to the original state. Lawsuits were filed by environmental groups who believed that permanent damage was done to the ecosystem and that the restoration efforts had failed. During filming, a section of the beach was laid out flat that was never restored, and the whole area remained damaged until the tsunami of 2004. The lawsuit dragged on until 2006, until Thailand's Supreme Court determined that there was significant damage and that damage assessments were to be made. And because of the increase of tourist traffic also resulted in damage to both the bay and the coral reef, authorities would close the beach in 2018. The beach would remain closed until 2022 when the beach opened up with restrictions of no boats, no swimming, and visitors could only visit for 1 hour. So there's not a lot to this movie. It is pretty simple. In terms of recommending it, the movie is interesting because it's very visually pleasing. A lot of great landscapes. The island is quite beautiful. Great backgrounds. DiCaprio tries his best to take the audience on this journey of going to this island with him, as well as exploring the different landscapes. Where I think the movie fails, though, is the story is disjointed, and it takes a long time to get to the emotional journey that kind of the movie is building up towards. I think the movie would have been better off if DiCaprio had gotten to the island a little bit quicker and that they made the mental struggle a little bit longer with kind of the paradise versus reality struggle that DiCaprio seems to be going through. I also would have loved to see that the farmers, who ends up being the villain of the movie, would be a bigger threat, and then there would be more menacing. They kind of appear at the end, and it's just kind of very quickly rushed together. Overall, it's definitely worth watching, but it's definitely not one that I'm going to be revisiting over and over again. So in terms of our bonus story, we're going to take a look at Disney Sea. Disney Sea was a proposed aquatic theme park that was never built. The idea for the park was proposed on July 31st, 1990 as part of the Disney Decade celebration. This would focus on the development of Disney Port as part of an undeveloped resort complex, and this was to occur to be located in California, up the road from Disneyland. So in terms of the attractions, they had 4 proposed areas. So Oceana was one of the main attractions. Then this would be a 2-story spherical aquarium in the center of the park. Kind of like this would be their version of the castle. And this would be interactive along with being educational for guests. And that the aquarium would also include a working research laboratory. Kind of what they did for Animal Kingdom. In terms of the themed lands, so they have the Mysterious Island, and this would have been themed around the lost city of Atlantis. And keep in mind, this is also 10 years before the animated film. Attractions would have included a Pirate's Island and a Nemo lava crusher, so based on Nemo from 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. The second land would have been Heroes Harbor, and this would have been exploring stories of adventures, including Sinbad and Ulysses. And the entrance was to include a labyrinth where the walls were made of water. There was the Boardwalk and Feats of Fantasy, and this area would have featured rides and dining experiences aboard historical ships. And then finally, there is the Venture Reefs, and this is the main attraction, which would include shark diving. And in addition, theme areas within the land would include the Grecan Village, Asian Water Market, and a Caribbean Lagoon. So why didn't this theme park get built? There are 2 main reasons. The first one being the community in Long Beach, California, mostly environmentalists, were resistant to Disney moving in. The California Coastal Act was created, which denied the application for Disney to fill in ports needed for the park. The second reason was the budget was estimated to be $3 billion, which in combination with the unfavorable reception from the locals caused Disney to just walk away. So thank you so much for joining us here on Disney Movie Investigation. I would invite anyone to please leave a comment below on if they've seen the movie The Beach, what their impression of it, or kind of like a mini review. Also, if you kind of would be interesting to hear what people's thoughts are on the unproposed Disney Sea. I know we went through it quite quickly, but there wasn't a lot to it. But just it'd be interesting to see what people would have thought about this attraction. So as we look forward to our next episode, we are going to be looking into the world of soccer as we take a look at Disney's The Big Green. And for our bonus story for that video, we're going to take a look at the history of the Disney Channel games. So until next time, I hope you have a magical day, and we will see you real soon.